Welcome back, Devils fans, and I am here in this video to take a deeper look at the debacle that is our current goaltending situation. I applaud Lindy Ruff, as you all know. Time and time again, I have campaigned for Akiraschmid to get his fair shot to claim the net and run with it. I wanted to see him in goal for San Jose. It didn't work out. Again, I don't blame him for the loss. I think we would have lost no matter who was in net, or at least Vitek was in net. But I think Lindy was really trying to establish Akira as the guy going forward. There'd be no questions asked at that point had he won the game. Now, he did not win the game. And so this creates room for a lot of question marks, and I don't know if it's necessarily a goaltending controversy, because in my opinion at this point, Akiraschmid is definitely the by far goaltender. But I think a lot of people will now kind of second guess Lindy's goaltending decisions going forward. And while that's unfortunate, it's the reality of the world we live in now. So these are the two netminders we have on the roster. Hopefully Fitz goes out and, brings someone in. I think we really need a true number one to be in a tandem with hopefully Schmid. I wouldn't be surprised if we brought in someone else and Akira went to Utica to get more playing time. I know they've kind of hinted at that here and there. But I would like to see Akira stay with the main club and get a good amount of starts. But there's got to be someone else with Akira. It cannot be vitekvanecek. Now, let's take a deeper look at the numbers from this season. So here we have both vitekvanecek and Akiraschmid's numbers on the year. Vitek has played in 15 games. He has 8 wins, with a sky-high goals against average of 3.49 and a rather pathetic save percentage of .879. And then we look at Akiraschmid. His numbers are not much better. In 10 games played, he has 3 wins with a goals against of 3.27 and a save percentage of .891. And now, if you're the fan of any NHL team and your two goaltenders have those numbers, you're screaming from the mountaintops, get us a goalie. Because those are not sustainable long-term numbers for any goalie to bring a team any level of true success. And so I do like Vitek as a guy. He seems like a nice guy. He seems very friendly and all this and that. But in the end, as I've said in other videos, I've now become completely heartless and a cold-blooded killer when it comes to goaltending and subpar goaltending for my team. And so I am voting Vitek off the island. In my world, Vitek is long gone off the island, and we're looking for somebody else to bring in with Schmid. And now let's take a look at the last 5 starts for each of these guys, or last 5 games rather. So we look at Vitek. At Pittsburgh, he gave up 2 and got the win. He gave up 4 against the Rangers, got the loss. Gave up 4 against Detroit, got the loss. Gave up 2 against Buffalo, got the win, and then got lit up for 4 against the Islanders before Akiraschmid came in and held down the fort, and we won that game in a thrilling come-from-behind victory. And now we take a look at Akiraschmid's numbers. Gave up 5 in Winnipeg in a loss, 2 against Columbus in a loss. Gave up none in relief of Vitek in that Islander game. Gave up 3 on a whopping 48 shots. Well, I guess they've changed it. Originally it was 48. I guess the NHL changed the stats after the fact. So I remember they reported 48, but I guess it was 47. So he had 44 saves in Philly. And then he had that San Jose game, which again, it wasn't a great game, but I don't blame the loss solely on Akiraschmid. I think we could have scored a ton of goals that game, and we just weren't beating Kakkonen towards the end. He was just saving everything. But when you look at these numbers, they're not great. They're not great at all, honestly. But Akira has shown in a couple of the games his save percentage is way up, and that's a big difference between a 929 or a 936 save percentage versus the 833s and 857s that Vitek's putting up. And the margin of error in this league is very small. And so when you look at those numbers, quite frankly, that's a difference between a win and a loss in a lot of games. And now let's take a look at what good goaltending looks like. So this is league-wide. We're taking a look at the list. There's only a couple guys, Aiden Hill and Jonathan Quick there. But goals against of below 2. Very rare this day and age in the NHL. But there's a good, let's see, number, not even at John Gibson, right? I'm not asking for the Devils. I'm not asking for the Devils to get, the best goalie in the league. But I do think we need at least, Carter Hart, John Gibson type numbers where, Gibson has a 2.8 goals against. That's over half a goal lower than what we're currently getting. A half a goal against per game is an absolutely huge variance. And again, the difference between wins and losses, and probably lots of them. But if you look at this list here, everyone up till number, 23, Georgiev is below a 2.9, which again, 2.9 is not great, but it's a lot better than 3.33 or 3.5. And then we go on to, obviously, no New Jersey Devils. This is the top 27 lowest goals against in the league. No Devil players to be found on this list. And then we go to 28 through 50. And what do you know? At number 39 is Akira at 3.27. Number 48 is Vitek with 3.49. And right below number 49, our old friend Mackenzie Blackwood on a horrible Sharks team with a 3.56. These numbers are not going to make you a winner in the NHL. Bottom line. Bottom line, giving up that many goals a game with terrible save percentages is not a way to win in this league for any team, even a high-scoring team like the Devils, and we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But another metric, and again, I don't like when people get totally caught up in just purely stats. But for goalies, I do believe the stats might be more telling than some other positions like forwards or defensemen. Goalies really, it's just simple math, right? If we're scoring 3 whatever goals a game and we're giving up the same amount or more, you're going to lose games. And this is a detailed stat metric, lowest goals saved above expected, all situations expected goals against. And by this advanced stat, vitekvanecek is the worst goalie in the league at minus 10.6 goals saved above expected. So this calculates high percentage chances, and it's a whole formula. And when I grew up, they didn't have all these advanced stats and these gurus that figure out all these crazy things. But on this particular stat for lowest goals saved above expected, vitekvanecek is 76th in the league at minus 10.6. Again, not a good indication of a winning hockey club. And now let's take a look at goals scored per game for each team in the league, or at least the higher end teams in the league. And through 20 games played, the Kings are averaging 3.85 goals a game. They are number 1. The Canucks through 25 games are averaging 3.84. The Red Wings at number 3 at 3.74. The Avalanche at 4 with 3.7 goals a game. And in the 5th place, 5th of the entire league, the New Jersey Devils at 3.59 goals scored per game. And so when I look at stats like this, it really makes my blood boil, because obviously we are the 5th highest scoring club in the entire National Hockey League. If you are a top 5 team in goals scored, you should not be looking up from the basement of the standings trying to claw into a playoff spot. If you're 5th in the league in goals scored, you should be secure in a playoff spot. And why are we not? Unfortunately, we are not, because goaltending has cost us severely. And I'm not going to put it fully on the goaltenders. We've had a lot of defensive breakdowns and lapses where there's just insane scoring chances against, breakaways, 2-on-1s, odd man rushes, stretch passes from the opposition's far D end across the ice and hit someone for a breakaway. I mean, the defense hasn't been good. But the job of a goalie is to make some hard saves. And unfortunately, we haven't been getting a lot of those timely saves that we need. So when I look at this, 3.59 goals a game, that's absolutely phenomenal. We could be in the race for most goals come the end of the season. We might be the highest scoring team in the league, but we should definitely probably be still in at least the top 5. And so glaring statistic there. We're scoring a ton, and we're not getting the wins. Why are we not getting the wins? Again, simple math. We're giving up way too many goals because of mediocre to horrific goaltending. And it needs to change. Something needs to be done. And now I've talked about this time and time again. I've been a fan forever, and so I grew up during the glory days, and I'm spoiled. And right here we see the GOAT, Marty Brodeur, with in his last game as a New Jersey Devil in April of 2014. There he is saluting the crowd. Saluting the crowd in his last game as a New Jersey Devil, 2014. It was the end of the 13-14 season. Last game as a Devil. Very emotional game. I was there. We all knew that was it for Marty in a Devils uniform. Unfortunately, that's a whole nother topic for another day. But there's Marty waving to the crowd. And here's a great photo with yours truly in the top right corner there, circled in yellow. I was positioning myself to get above the glass to get some good videos and photos of Marty's lap around the ice, and the last time we were going to see him in a Devils jersey as a player. We've obviously seen him in Devils jerseys a ton of times since at different ceremonies and things, but the last time we were going to see him in a Devils jersey as a player, as the goalie of the New Jersey Devils, there I am in the top right corner. And in case you live under a rock, or for people who became a fan in the past couple months, that infamous salute to the crowd has been immortalized into a statue of Marty. The statue is entitled The Salute, and it's a pose of him from his last game as a Devil saluting the crowd with his stick up in the air, and there's a nice little shot of the statue there. And the reason I bring this up is that game that Marty played, his last game as a Devil, April, I believe it was 13th of 2014. We are now in our 10th NHL season since that time. So we have, that was a 13-14 season, so then you have 14-15, 15-16, 16-17, 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, 20-21, 21-22, 22-23, 23-24, the current season. 10 seasons since Marty has been here. And in those 10 seasons, we have had 17, I repeat, 17 different goalies play for the New Jersey Devils. And you look at this graphic here, Corey Schneider had a couple decent seasons in New Jersey. He was playing on a horrific team. I mean, wow, if we could get the level of Corey Schneider's goaltending for those couple years on today's team, we'd probably be cup favorites. But you look at the list, that not to knock any of these guys, you know, this is a list by and large of journeymen, career backups, minor leaguers, guys that have been all over the league and are not bona fide starters in the NHL. This is not NHL starting goalie quality, this crop of 17 guys on the screen. And so when you have such high turnover in such a crucial position in hockey, it's going to be hard to find long-term success. I actually thought in my head when I was compiling this graphic, I actually thought it was going to be way more than what it was. Because I believe we had like 7 or 8 goalies appear in one season. But then there was a lot of guys on these lists that were around here and there for a few years, so it kind of cut it down. But still, in 10 seasons, 17 goalies, that's 1.7 goalies a year. We're a few guys away from it being literally on average a new goaltending tandem every single year for a decade. Think about that. That is insane. I would be shocked if there's any other team in the league that has 17 guys, and that I don't have a research department. You know, I'm a one-man show over here, running with the Devils, baby, one-man crew. But I would be curious. I'm going to try to see if I can find it. Maybe I'll put in the comments if I can find the research. I don't even know where I'd look for something like this, but I would think that is by far the most amount of goalies that have started a game for a team since the 14-15 season. I mean, 17 goalies? It's kind of insane. And so I'm really at a loss for words here, because I thought Akira was going to be the guy. I still think he could be the guy, and you can't think goalies are going to win every game. And so I personally do not put that much stock into the loss against the San Jose Sharks. It wasn't a good game for Schmid. It wasn't a good game for the team. And so we're headed to Western Canada on a road trip. I am kind of nervous of how much vanecek we're going to see, but I think I would still give Akira the bulk of the starts for at least the next couple weeks to really assess where we are with him. If we just look at his last 3 games, he's 2-1. He came in relief of Vitek against the Islanders. came back and won the game. He started in Philly, got pelted with shots, gave up 3, we won in overtime. And then he had a crappy game against the Sharks, which is a very painful loss, maybe one of the most painful on the season. But he's 2-1 in his last 3 games. And so now I would like to see him get maybe 4 or 5 of the next 6. It's probably not going to happen. But in an ideal world, I would love to see that. And that would give us a nice stretch of, 8 out of 10 or 8 out of 11, something like that, where we could really assess with consistent playing time what Akira is capable of, because he's still not fully known. We don't really know. We just don't know. We could sit here and guess, but I think or at least most people, are on board with, we know what we have in Vanecek, and it's not good. And so, again, hate to bash Vanecek, seems like a great guy, but he is not the answer in net, and I don't think he could even be part of a successful tandem, to be honest. He's just too inconsistent, and maybe it's all mental, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm not here to diagnose what his particular situation is. But what I am here to say is that I want him off this hockey club. It's unfortunate, but the unfortunate reality is I want him off the hockey club. We need to bring someone in with Akira and see what we could do before it's too late. I do think we could really figure out what we have in akiraschmid if we give him a nice little stretch of games coming up. It's still early enough in the season that even if he falls on his face, then we know he's not the guy. But until we do that, we're not going to know. Again, love the vote of confidence by Lindy. He said in the post-game press conference, he gave Akira the back-to-back, which was stunning to a lot of people. Gave him the back-to-back to show confidence in him, and because he won the game before. He really was the reason we won. And Lindy said that in the conference. So I'm happy he did it. Like I said in the previous video, all the trolls came out after the fact, and it's easy to question a decision when you know how the game plays out. Big road trip in Canada. It could be the make or break of the season, folks. So, in closing, the goaltending situation is officially a mess. We need somebody. We need to figure out what we're doing with the guys we have. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about the guys we have now? Who do you think should start? Do you think we should bring in outside help? Who do you guys think that we should look at bringing in? I really wanted Hellebuck this summer, and that all fell apart. I was really pumped for that. I really think that could have put us over the edge as a true contender. That didn't pan out. He signed, re-upped in Winnipeg long-term, so it doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. And it seems like really there's only very few names that have been tossed around out there. It seems like Gibson from Anaheim could be available. I would take him. He wouldn't be my first choice. I would much prefer UC Saros. But we could be pipe dreaming. Fitz might not be looking to bring in an established goalie at all. And it'd be unfortunate because I think it could be a wasted season of this nucleus we have intact. And as I've said in other videos, the seasons go by quick. And young guys become 5-year guys, and then now they're in their 9th, 10th year as veterans, and their career has passed them by, and we couldn't get it together to win a cup. And if that happens with this group, it would be a travesty. I believe the Hughes, Nico, Luke Hughes, that whole nucleus should win minimum 1 cup. I would like to see 2. Shit, I would like to see 3 or 4. But 1, if we don't win 1, it would be completely inexcusable. It's time to figure out the goalie situation once and for all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. As always, let's go Devils.